French doors in white oak. That's the vision and the goal for my pantry doors, but budget doesn't allow it, so I'm making my own version. But was it worth it? Join me as I navigate through all sorts of hurdles and mistakes, and see that persevering till the end really pays off. Hey guys, so I just wanted to show you here, these are my shed doors, and the reason why I'm showing them to you is because I wanted to show you in the inside how I made them. So let's head in there. As you can see, I made these doors with pocket holes, and fun fact, these are the very first doors that I've ever made. And they're okay for the shed, but I don't want pocket holes showing for my pantry doors, so I think we can step up our game for the pantry doors. To get started, work on your door frame first and make sure it is plumb from the beginning. Unfortunately, I didn't do so and ended up drawing up the plans a few times. Luckily, the material I got was okay to end up making the doors. I started the build with measuring all of the parts, the rails, the stiles, the panels, and then I started cutting. I did lots and lots of cutting, guys. And I would have greatly benefited from having a table saw, but my circular saw and the scratch jig rib cut have been working just fine. I'll have links in the description below for all the products I use. After cutting all the pieces, I moved on to gluing up the panels that are gonna go at the bottom of both doors. Have a damp microfiber ready to wipe off all the glue squeeze out. It'll save you a lot of sanding. And boy, will you be doing sanding. And be patient, just as Coco is when he's trying to get in the house and I'm working away. I continued the endless sanding, and then I moved on to cleaning. You have to do constant cleaning, otherwise you'll be up to your knees in sawdust. This was a really cool part because it's when I started to piece together all the parts of the doors, and I was starting to see what I needed and what to do next. And it's moments like this that encourage you as you see things come together. I also dry fitted the mirrors so that they would sit properly in the opening that I had left and that they wouldn't fall through once I put everything together. What's going on, Coco? Do you want to go in? Do you want to get in the house? I know, Coco, no. Vamos para adentro, vamos. Come on. Come inside. It was late and cold, but I was eager to put together the doors. Instead of pocket holes, I used the dowel system, which is an easy joinery system that makes projects look more professional. If you're interested in knowing more, go ahead and check out my dowel jig video. I'm gonna try it out, so this is the moment of truth. Okay guys, I already put all the dowels, as you can see right there. This one we had already fitted in. It's a little bit proud, so I think we can say that this was a success, and I think I need dowels going this way other than on top of the glue, same as here, so I'm just dry fitting everything. Okay guys, so it's sundown again, and look at this. I finished the first door as far as the glue up goes, as far as the joinery. Oh, where's my light? The joinery is all done. I did it with the dowels, and the dowel jig that I got was just awesome. I'm so happy with it. But look at that. Ooh. So I did the glue up. The glue up, you have to be super fast at it, and I'll try to like show you in the second door. This here is looking really sharp, and I'm really happy about this. So next door coming up, I'll try to do all the dowel holes tonight for the second door, because tomorrow I just want to do glue up. That's all I have time for. So we're gonna go into the second part here for the door. Everything was going swimmingly up until this point, when before putting together the second door, My mom noticed that one door was short on the paneling by 1 inch. Oh my god, I was so frustrated. On top of that, the door frame was not plumb, and that meant backtracking to figure out how to fix the door and afterwards fix the frame so the doors could fit. I went right into fixing mode and grabbed a Japanese saw and cut away everything that I had already glued. In retrospect, I should have used a circular saw because it would have saved me a lot of time, and I also had some pain from sewing so much. I added a small piece of panel to the one that was short, and then I cut both pieces horizontally at an angle. I glued them together in hopes of fixing it, and it worked. It looked a little rough and scary at first, but when I sanded the piece, it was transformed. And then I just had to cut the panel to size and put the door back together again. This time my mom was there to help me glue it all up, which made it so much easier because the first time was a struggle. So I want my doors to look like white oak, and I'm gonna experiment a little bit. I'm gonna start with staining them. If that doesn't work out how I want it to look, then I'm just gonna go straight for my faux wood effect technique. And if you haven't seen the video, I have one up already where I did my laundry doors. I'm just gonna change out the color scheme. So I'm excited about that. Go check out the video if you haven't seen it, and let's keep on going with this door transformation. I started by testing out the stains on a scrap piece of wood, but they were quickly ruled out because they were either too red or too brown. So I moved on to my faux wood effect. Trying to replicate the color scheme from what I had in my pictures, I whipped up a variety of light browns, tans, whites, and I added a bit of mustard color I had and mixed it in for added warmth. I did a test piece and hope I could replicate it at a larger scale, but the first one came out too orangey and then it turned out too gray. Okay, so this is the latest trial on the paint color for the pantry doors. As you can see, it's a little bit better than the orangey that I had done. I think I had put too much of the mustard. This is a little dark, but this is gonna be the back side, and I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. I wanted to show you here, this is, and it looks darker too as well, depending on the light here. But I like this color combination that I did here on the top. This is the other side. And it's lighter. I hope that you can appreciate the color here. There. If you can see that, this is what I'm going for. And I wanted to show you, I did special walnut and a white mocha that I had on my paints right there, which has that light brown undertone, and the one next to it is the same combination, but it has a little bit of mustard in it, and those are my base colors for my doors. So I layered these base colors with the ones that I showed you before to make a nice light brown faux wood effect. I also did a light pass of dry brushing with white and tan paints, which gave it an awesome texture and really brought everything together. Next, it was time to fix that frame. I took out all the trim that was still up, and then I grabbed a roll of plastic to cover everything inside the pantry, so I wouldn't get any dust in it. It turned out that I needed to do a little bit more coverage with the plastic, but I'll show you later. Then I grabbed my drywall knife, which is awesome for doing work like this. I didn't want to do too much dust, so I started trying to get everything out, but it was really hard and it was taking too long, so I decided to scratch that idea and use my oscillating tool, which made things so much easier, but at the same time, so much more messy. So here's my tip. When you're working with drywall, wear protective gear and cover everything that you can, like this. Alright guys, so we're here. What I did is I kind of made this drywall to be completely flush and that it's level or plumb. And then as you can see over here, there is a 2x3 in between here. These are 2x3s because this is a mobile home house. So this is the opening that I have in between the drywall. And this is not a traditional door jamb that I'm gonna be doing. I just did the pieces of 2x3 here. That's what I had. I could have jammed in a 2x3 all the way up, but I had all this scrap material, so I decided to use it. I fastened it with some screws, and then I also had to shimmy it from the back so that it could be level. And then what I'm gonna be doing is I have this piece of trim that I did with plywood, and I like that it's low profile. I don't like it to be so chunky. I was gonna be putting a trim piece here, but turns out that the opening that I have is not big enough, so I want to work with just what I have. And so I just kind of like leveled here so that it could be plumb. And what I'm going to be doing is just putting this piece of trim that I made, and I already marked where my pieces are so that I'm going to be able to do the putting the hinges on the door and where to put them so that they are secured to a place where it's gonna be, there's a piece of wood in the back and that it can grab onto something. Once my right side jamb was plumb and level, I proceeded to put my plywood trim with my nail gun, and once that was done, I went over to the left side, which was a little bit more tricky because there was the electrical cable running through. So I had to put some electrical covers, which are those metal ones, get rid of that piece of wood on the floor so that I could accommodate my 1x4 that was going to be the base for my left side jamb, and then tons and tons of adjustments. Thankfully, I'm being paid in the form of popcorn to endure all of this. Inset hinges were my weapon of choice when choosing how to hang these doors. I used a fastener bit and I made myself a handy jig to install the hinges. I'll be doing a series of basics, so expect a video on how to install inset hinges and more. I used cabinet hinges because the material was too thin for regular door hinges, and they have the soft mechanism, which is a must in any kitchen. The next thing that I had to do, and that was the only thing, is these hinges here have these two screws. This one makes it move in or out of position, like to the side, sideways, and then this one moves it to go front or back. So the only one that I needed to mess with basically was this side to side screw, and that allowed me to have my reveal right here, and the reveal is about 1/8 of an inch. And now that I have everything aligned nice and pretty here, now I'm gonna put a stop at the top so that it doesn't go in, because it does go in if it doesn't have the stop, but it is a soft close, so it won't slam the door. I wanted to mention that when I installed the hinges here to the trim and the wall, what I had to do was I had to align my door. These were already positioned here and screwed in, and what I did is I had to align the door to be flush to the trim. And then with that, I had to kind of like squeeze in here, have another person help out, my mom. And then from there, I positioned the hinge part that goes into the wall in a way where I knew that it was completely level. And I had to pre-drill because these holes that I messed up here, it was because I didn't pre-drill. So do pre-drill, and I had to use longer screws as well. Once I had the middle hinge, which is this one here, positioned, I went all the way down and positioned the bottom one. And once I did that, which was tricky, went on to do this second middle hinge, and then I did a top hinge, making sure that everything was flush to that top trim as well. The right door was up, so now it was time to do the left side. I did the same thing. I fastened the trim with my nail gun and then screwed the door to the frame to hang the door. Did multiple adjustments again along the way to make it perfect. Here you see a gap there because the trim is gonna come on top of here and that's gonna make it better. But the good thing was that I hadn't put on the mirror, so that helped me to go in and drill and do all the things that I needed to do. So that's really good. I could leave it like this. It's pretty handy to just reach in and grab whatever you want. Just kidding. At this point, all I have to do is do the routing for the mirrors. Then after that, I just have to finish putting the trim. Oh, I also need to find some hardware for the doors, but I haven't found anything, so stick around to see what I found at the end. To install the mirrors, I just had to center the mirror in between where the opening was that I had left at the door, and then I marked it and I let the routing begin. So I usually use a guide to do my routing when it comes to doing this, but I definitely was feeling confident because I didn't use one. I try to keep a steady hand and thankfully it worked out okay. So I'm ready to mount the mirror to the door, and what I'm going to be using for that is silicone. And I have the gun right here for the silicone, and what I did here was I routed around the opening that I left for the mirror, and that way the mirror will sit on this little ledge that I created with the router. So I just wanted to show you here, the door has the mirror already installed, and there's a little bit of the silicone squeeze out from the back. We can fix this very easily. So I'm going around just trying to see where these little things are, and that way I can just take them all out. So what you're gonna need is gonna be a razor. You can use whatever razor you want. And what I'm gonna be doing is just taking out this little piece of glue that you can see protruding from that piece of wood. So I'm grabbing my blade and I'm going to go along the line here near to where the frame is and just score. This works. Score there to take out. Go as close as possible, and then afterwards you're gonna go this way. Lay it down your blade so you can take it out from both sides, and then you'll see the pieces of silicone right here. And this was all the silicone squeeze out that I took out from both mirrors. It wasn't too bad, so I'm happy, and now they're all nice and clean. Okay guys, so we're almost at the end of this project and I'm so excited about this. As you can see, I already hung the doors, and I also have my fancy hardware made out of painter's tape. Just kidding, guys. This is just so that we can open the doors in the meantime while we put the actual hardware on. But it helps a lot. So I was trying to figure out what kind of hardware to put on, and I found this really cool one. So to play with the half circles that we have right here, I found these pools. These are super cool. They're also half circles, and so I'm gonna put them right about here. I tried them in to go in here like this, but they actually look better this way, so you'll see it at the end. Another thing is the trim. I put all the trim all around. I just need to fasten the side of the trim here, and I'm painting the side of the plywood here. And I'm also using shims to adjust the trim and make it flush to the doors. I also tried the caulk from the dollar store, which worked great, but it wasn't enough for the whole project. We have a bunch of small holes from the nails that when I nailed, so I need to do a little bit of filling there, and I'm gonna be doing it with this wood epoxy. I already have my 2 parts right here and fill in the holes so that everything looks nice. You can see this is the finished wood epoxy all mixed up, and it's super easy. I just grab my little spatula, flexible spatula, go over the holes. And once the wood epoxy dries, you can sand it with a 120 grit and then a 400 grit to smooth it all out. And once all the sanding was done, I went all over the trim with stain to even out the color. Then I finally finished the caulking and did a coat of poly to finish. The doors for the pantry are finally done, and this has been a project that has taken me almost 5 months or more. I started back in December when I did the organizing of the shelves. I did a new countertop, and as you can see here, once you open it, it's super cool because you have the lights and the shelves were extended. I did a vacuum station as well, and they're just things that are practical that you can use in your house, and it'll give you ideas for your own pantry. Thank you so much for joining me while I make this house my home. Really excited about the pantry doors being finished finally, and I have so much more to share with you. I have more projects here in the kitchen. I have projects all around the house, gardening videos as well to help you with your garden, and also food recipes. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so right now. Also give this video a like. It really helps my channel grow. We're almost at 100 friends that have subscribed, and I'm so excited. Maybe we'll grow to 1,000 and more. Who knows? Go ahead and check out the other videos of the series right here and let me know what you think. Did I make it happen with the idea that I started with? I'm pretty happy with it. I'm super happy actually, and I can't believe I did it. So hopefully you guys can do something like this as well, and you learned something along the way, which is my main goal here in the channel. So thank you so much. Have a great day. God bless you. Bye-bye.